Can't hear very well, but recording in progress. Good evening. This is a public service announcement. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this little podcast video. We would very much appreciate it. From yours sincerely, Will and Matt at Garage Built Athlete. What episode is this? 29?
29. When you said good evening, I wasn't sure if you were talking to me, so I replied. Is that your intro?
Very well. I think my hat is covering my ears. I've got a hat on because my hair has gone wild today.
Yeah? Like
see how wild?
Emmett Brown.
Well, pretty wild, yeah. Let's leave that on. Put that back on.
As far as wild hair goes, we've got two different scales.
Yeah, well, that's about as wild as it gets. That's all we've got. That's all we're dealing with here. So, what's going on?
What is going on? I've started writing things down. Yeah, not just generally.
Me
I'm
too.
going to tick one of those off. Matt, do intro.
How?
Tick.
I was thinking all day about how to do that intro, and it didn't really come out how I wanted. So
you're not happy with that? Do you want to go again next time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to write that down.
Entertaining intro.
Next week's podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast. Matt, do intro better.
Oh man, so much pressure. I wrote down all my stuff.
I'm going to underline better.
I wrote down all my stuff for this week. Yeah. And I can't find any of it.
I've got a crazy idea. Let's talk about training first.
Seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, okay, I've not seen it on this podcast, but I've seen it in the picture that you sent me. So it's not new to me, but it's new to the world.
Hey, world.
Hey, world. Let's motherfucking go.
All right. Hit me with some training talk.
Training talk. Last time, I didn't fully get into the weightlifting classes that I've been doing. So I'm a weightlifter now.
You're a weightlifter, are you? You got your garage built weightlifting.
Garage built athlete, weightlifting division taken over. Yeah, so I'm a weightlifter. What are you showing? What you got there? What you got?
Trying to take a picture.
Okay. Just taking a sneaky picture.
Taking a sneaky picture. A little pickaroo. Hang on. I've got to weigh this screen out a bit larger. There we go. That's more like it. Look natural. Act natural.
I don't know what to do with my hands when I say act natural.
I liked it better last time when I sign language the introduction. That was good.
Yeah.
Should do that each time.
Yeah. Well, for the make it more accessible to British Sign Language people.
I haven't understood anything. We tried to be inclusive.
So weightlifting. I'm a weightlifter now. I do weightlifting and I like it. Well, I've done weightlifting for a while, but not this.
Never really done it.
Never really did it. I just did it, but I didn't really do it. And now I'm trying to do it. And I've really been enjoying it. Been learning some bits and pieces from the coach Paul at T800. That's where I've been going to have my weightlifting classes, and I do it after an engine class. But I might not do the engine class this week because I asked him what happens, like does the engine class run all year round? Because it's outside in the rain. And by engine, I'm talking about is like getting on the rower and just doing awful stuff on rows and assault bikes to give you better like endurance and pacing.
Give you a bigger engine.
So I said, yeah, does it run all year round? And he was saying, well, it does. But, we might need to move people indoors a little bit, or because then otherwise the equipment's going to get rusty if it's raining. And he said, if it's raining, it will be running and you will get wet. And that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, nah, mate.
Running and getting wet. Not really into that.
Not a duck.
Not really into that. But the engine stuff is stuff that I don't enjoy, which means it's good for me, like eating your vegetables. So the engine is
eating vegetables.
Engine is eating your vegetables when you're a kid. That's what that is. It's like, I don't want to do it. But then when you do it, it's good for
you. You ate vegetables when you were a kid. You
Yeah.
ate everything when
I'm
you
just
were a
trying to
kid. That's
relate.
why you're big and I'm small,
I'm just trying to
because I
relate.
didn't.
And yeah, so there's various like interval stuff and trying to hold pacing and doing some really, really gross things on rowers, and I really messed my hands up. My little princess hands took a battering because I was sat on a
Have you
rower,
still got princess hands? How is that even possible?
because I tape them and I don't let them get smashed up.
You can see my non-princess hands from here. They're like cat's paws.
Yeah, mine's not.
Nah, that's still pretty cat pawry. Now you've got a little one in the middle as well. The one when you really graduate is when you get that middle one, isn't it? Which goes.
Yeah. Well, I've pumice these down as well because they were getting sore. So after an hour of doing horrible stuff on rowers, I then stay and do the weightlifting stuff, which is really, really good because I get to learn and get some one-on-one time doing things like snatch balance. So trying to drop under the bar and get used to dropping under the bar and holding the squat position and being fast. We did split jerk technique, clean strength stuff. But I think because I've not been going that long, I've only done 2 classes, but I think it sort of flips backwards and forwards. So one week you'll do like a heavy snatch, and the next week you'll do a heavy clean and jerk. Then you go back to snatch, then clean and jerk, and then before that you do like some technique on the opposite one. So for example, you do split jerk technique, heavy snatch, and then clean strength. And then the next week you do
counterintuitive to me.
Snatch technique, clean and jerk. You don't have to agree with everything. It doesn't always have to sit well with you. Clean and jerk,
should though.
heavy,
and
then
it should just be sensible.
Strength.
Like if you're going to work on your technique, then you might as well work on the actual lift, mightn't you? Because then you can apply your technique. But hey, if it works, it works.
What do you know?
Yeah. Nothing about Olympic weightlifting.
That's
absolutely zero.
That's what we've been doing, and it's been good. I've enjoyed it so far.
Good. How do you get one-on-one time there? Is it just you hanging around to do that?
No, the class is roughly 10 people, and that's all you're doing. So for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, more like 25 minutes, you're doing like technique, and he comes around and he watches everybody and like comes and watches you lift, and he gives you a couple of little pointers, and then he goes on to the next person and watches them lift, and then he comes back to the next person, and he sort of works his way around.
What have been your revolutionary pointers? Any? Do you have any light bulbs?
Yeah, so I've had a couple of good ones. So on the snatch, what I really liked is he said to me, so I want to see you do 2 different speeds. So from the floor to the knee or just above the knee is one speed, and then from the knee up until you actually go into your triple extension, that's another speed. That's you need to accelerate, so you need to go faster. And he said, I don't care if the 2 speeds are fast and really fucking fast, but they need to be 2 different speeds. So don't just pull one speed all the way up. So that's been good because it makes me.
And where do you generate the extra speed from then? Your hip, or what are you doing to change the speed?
I am.
Must be your hip, huh?
Yeah. So it's coming from like leg drive. So I'll like get everything nice and tight and everything all locked in, and I'll just start pulling slow off the ground as I stand up, and then I'll just accelerate everything from there. And then
this is snatch. You're talking about
snatch. Yeah. And he told me to always, like in CrossFit gyms, they've got lines on the wall. So there's like 10 foot line, and there's a 8 foot line maybe for wall balls. And he just said, right, I just don't want you to take your eyes off that line the whole lift. And I was like, okay, because I'm used to deadlifting or squatting where I'm fixed at a position on the floor to keep my spine and my neck nice and neutral rather than like cranking it up like that. So,
or neck cranking, yeah, that cranked up, boy.
And that forced me to open up my chest and be more upright. So when I'm jumping in my triple extension, I'm like upright rather than being sort of like that and trying to like jump and pop open. I'm more upright, and I'm just shooting up.
Yeah.
That was really
so
good.
Where's the line? The line is in front of you.
The line is up above and in front
up
and
above you. So he's making you look up a little bit.
Up a little bit. Yeah. So don't take your eyes off that line the whole time.
Yeah, because when you see someone who sets up nicely in a snatch, they're pretty vertical, aren't they?
Yeah.
In the bottom position.
Yeah. And he also, and just a really, really good one for getting me to do hook grip was he's just said to the whole class, no hook grip, no rep, which I thought was good. Because when I do class, and we do like Olympic weightlifting in a class, and then we do a workout with it in, the coach always says, you know, make sure you're doing a hook grip. And I'm like, nah, because I don't like it. But then he said, if you're not doing hook grip, you don't get a rep. So he said no rep. And I'm like, okay.
People
hook grip.
use straps though, no? With snatch, I guess, not with clean and jerk, because you can't then readjust your hands, can you? With the clean and jerk.
Well, you can use straps on a deadlift. It just depends what you're doing. Like,
yeah, but I thought people like in competition, for example, you can use straps, no? Or am I imagining that for snatch?
I don't know. I don't think they do them in the Olympics.
Yeah,
same as anything. It helps you hold on to the bar if you're trying to get stronger.
Yeah, I just thought for some reason that it was okay. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was okay, like a legit thing to do, to have straps. But for sure on clean and jerk, there's no straps, is there? Because you adjust your hands, don't you? As you pull the clean and then you go to do the jerk.
Yeah.
So that helped you because what? You just practicing hook grip more.
Yeah, it forces me to do it. Whereas normally I wouldn't do it.
I'm going to have some problems with that. With this bad boy, I think.
Bionic
that is not going to be a goer. That's going to pull my thumb off. But I didn't really use it anyway. So.
And so similar for the clean and jerk. It's like he was teaching me about landing in the clean and where my body needs to be upright, so the barbell sits over, like everything's lined up until it gets to your hip, and then your back leg. You need to try and get as much of your back leg under that barbell, the quad, as possible, but give enough sort of flex in the back foot that you're not too far back. I was jumping and I was splitting way too far.
Yeah.
And that was really, so I was in a really shitty position. And
because you're supposed to split one way, aren't you? Like you split with the leg back, because some people jump and split the leg forward. Is that right?
So that's like a.
Sorry, I was talking about a jerk, I think.
A normal jerk. You can do, just a dip, and you just it's either a jerk or you can do a split. I think it's a push jerk. Maybe is the one where you just keep your feet parallel, and you can move them out a little bit, and then the split jerk is where you go front to back. But when having knee issues, I've not been doing any split jerks. I felt really unstable. But now, because we've been doing some of the technique stuff, it feels a bit better. And I have very poor mobility in my shoulders for getting my elbows up and forwards, so I struggle. I struggle to keep my hands in full grip on the bar unless it's like that. So it's like that, it's fine. If I try and do that,
no problem.
The bar's just in my neck. So he was saying to me, like, whenever you front squat, always front squat with a full grip, because that's going to help that. And because I've struggled to keep a full grip, what happens is as I pop up from the bottom of the clean, my fingers like pop out from underneath, so I'm literally holding onto it with
with one of these,
with these, and then these ones are loose, and I've got to try and like wrangle them back in to try and then set up and then breathe and then jerk it. But he said what you'll see a lot of people doing, and what I can do to try and, whilst I'm working on my shoulder mobility and keeping that full grip, is as you stand up from the bottom of the squat, as soon as you hit the top of the clean, the bar will just pop just a little bit off your whatever this part of your body is called.
Collarbones.
Straight off your collarbone, your
clavicular,
straight off your throat. But that in that split second where you stand up and it keeps going up and you've stopped, that's when you get your fingers back in and readjust your hands, and then you can just pop straight from there.
Wow.
That's cool. I like it.
Sounds good.
And
Are you making some progress then with that bad boy?
Yeah, I think so, because I was training with some of the coaches at CrossFit Great Yarmouth the other day, and we were doing some snatches, and I got a little compliment on how I was getting under the bar in the snatch, so that was good.
Because when I was there, you got a PB snatch, no?
Something like
70 kilos, was that?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was, because it was it was a snatch, and it was 70, I think, which is good.
Yeah, so that has been good. I've enjoyed that. Enjoyed
Very
learning.
good. And what is, my ear just beeped for some reason. What did you say the coach's name is?
Paul.
And is he got a background in Olympic lifting, or
I
has
don't
he
know.
come to it through
Don't know.
CrossFit?
I didn't ask. It's just
It sounds like he knows his
chap.
onions, which is cool.
I'm gonna give him his full name. It's Paul Austin, T800
Paul Austin.
CrossFit.
Well done, Paul. Thank you for your help.
Yes.
Sounds
I
good.
said to him last time I was there, I said that's like what I've just said to you, like those are the things which were really useful for me. So,
yeah. Talking of Olympic lifting, do you remember I used to train at that place in Barcelona, which was run by an ex, well, not ex, he is. This is their news.
You were telling me about
as
him
of
last
today, Masters world champion, I think, or European record holder, master record holder, again, as of today, with something like, he's like 50 kilos. I think he snatched like 80 kilos. I'll have to find it. Snatched like 80 kilos.
Yeah.
And cleaned something decent as well. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, he's a monster. I think he's maybe pushing 50 now. Like an atomic ant, super, super strong.
Yeah. So that's part one of my training stories.
Very good. Gonna hit us with part two, or am I going with my training stories? Because my training story basically consists of my legs hurt a lot.
Your legs hurt because you've been running and biking.
Like someone smashed me in the legs. So I've done a whole block now of sprints off from the Ross training book. And not in my memory, I think I said this last time, in my memory, I used to be able to do these quite fast and actually feel quite good doing them. But doing them this time has basically been like being tortured. In fact, being hit in the legs with a hammer every time I do a sprint, and it gets worse. And then when I finished, I immediately have like delayed onset muscle soreness immediately as I walk home.
It's just muscle soreness. It's not even
unbelievable.
Delayed. There's no, I don't know, onset has not been delayed. It's just muscle
there's no delay. It's like immediate onset muscle soreness. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if my shoes are bad, because actually those Nikes I've got, I don't know which ones they are. You know more about the Metcons than me.
Free flyies.
I don't know.
Like that.
The black ones, aren't they? The full black ones. Running with those, it felt not too bad, and I felt like I could get quite good drive in those shoes. And then I put the Reebok ones on my just like my random Reebok trainers on this morning. Other trainers are available. Ran in those, but it was like really quite sore because I was running on the running track because I'm a bit beat up anyway. So running on the running track, but I could feel like every foot strike going through my shoe, and I think I've like compacted those shoes down to
maybe
nothing. So I'll have to switch back. They're like super cheap trainers. So I have to switch back to the Metcons and see if that helps. But this morning I did the 10 by 100 and like horribly slow, because the other ones I wasn't too disappointed in the end. When I was doing the 200s, I think it was, didn't feel too bad because I like run. So like at a good pace, say 60% of it, and then like properly sprint the end. And then when you do 100 meters, then you basically have to sprint the whole thing. But I was managing to sprint 100 in like an average time slower than what it was to do like 2 lots and match the 200s time. So in the end, I got it. I think I only just got under 20 seconds in the end for 100 meters, like 19 seconds. Like, how slow is that? Unbelievable, man. I was thinking, maybe it'll be like, I don't know, 15 or 16, and like super slow. The first one I did 9 point something, isn't it? It's like, I don't know if it's almost 9-0 now. God damn, that's insane. So that really hurt, but it really hurt even more because the weekend I tried cycling on my road bike on Sunday. I deadlifted in the morning on Sunday, and then when I went out for just a bit of a cruise around in the evening, so I'm trying out some things that I listened to on that Huberman Lab podcast, the neuroscientist guy from Stanford. I passed by Slackline and thought, I've never tried that, because for some reason there's always been here, this Slackline park, but I'd never tried it before. And I thought, I'll give that a try as I'm out and not really doing anything else. So I tried to do that, but that basically then involves standing on either two legs or one leg. And then like trying to get onto this line, like pressing up with one leg. So it's like a really deep one leg squat over and over again. And yeah, basically just destroyed my legs. But the slackline is hard. And then when I was on the road bike as well, I picked a route on the road bike, which I thought, that doesn't look too bad. And it had like a 200-meter climb in it. It's 20 kilometers with like a 200-meter climb. But the 200-meter climb was basically all straight up about halfway around. Like I almost had to get off the bike at one point because it was so steep. I was like, oh, this is a great idea. So my legs are completely battered now. And this morning, squatting this morning. So yesterday morning, sorry. Not this morning. So that ruined me for the last 4 days. And then tomorrow I'll just do some push-ups or something like that because I can't press anything. But squatting is okay.
And for the listeners, the Ross training that you're doing, just tell them what book that's from.
It's from Infinite Intensity. There's a plan in the back of it. So it's basically like a conditioning program. It's a conditioning program with some weights, but not traditional barbell weights mixed into it. It's more for fighters to train with, but it's got quite a nice structured sprint programming, which is 1 day a week of his. There's like a 50-day program in there. It's one of the days. So I just pull out that particular bit of it, the sprints, and drop that into my training.
He's all about the explosive, isn't he?
Yeah, but the rest of the program is actually really cool. And I was thinking about doing the GPP bit, the general physical preparation part, because there's some cool stuff in there. Those minute drills where you do like a minute of mountain climbers and a minute of burpees and a minute of jumping jacks, this sort of thing in a row. There's a bunch of variations of those for conditioning. And then in the 50-day plan, I think you can either pick 1 or 2 days of strength training, and then there's a really heavy conditioning day, hard conditioning day, some core days, and then there'll be one other day. I think there's a couple of GPP days in there in that one, and you can mix it up a bit and do like 2 days of strength if you want. But it's a really good program, worth buying from his website. And he's got that Never Gymnast program as well, which is cool, which is only $1.
The original, the OG.
That is proper OG. That is from like 2005 or something like that. Yeah. I've got the video still. And they're on YouTube, actually. They're on YouTube. The videos of me running up that hill. Because when I did it originally, when I was training for MMA, I used to do the distances, but I'd do them uphill as well. And I remember like absolutely charging around that stuff. And the 800-meter one, so the first week is like 4x800. I didn't have 800 meters for some reason. So I just ran around the block at Mum's, and it was like, I don't know if it's like 2 kilometers or something like that. I just ran like up this hill flat out around the top of it. Yeah, it's good. Super fit. But I don't feel like I'm going back to that fitness level at the moment. It feels like a bit of a slog.
May have been a while ago. I think that's knocking on about 12 years.
15 years ago, maybe something like that. It was 2007, wasn't it? So yeah, 14 years ago.
Several hospital visits later. Several bones later.
I can't really tell whether my foot is going to get better because it's like quite sore. Actually, my ankle is quite sore because when I broke my ankle last time, they said, "You probably do you like running?" They said, and I was like, "No, not really." So don't worry. And they're like, good. Yeah, they were like, "Yeah, good," because
you ain't going to be doing that.
But I've still got this unfinished business of that triathlon, this half Ironman triathlon that I need to do at some point.
I saw a guy on Instagram talking about Ironman. I'm sure he's doing like an erg Ironman, and it looked awful.
Yeah, saw that. I think.
Trying to remember the name of the guy. Maybe El Reg.
Yes, that guy. Yeah.
El Reg Fitness. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, geez, that is not something that I want to do.
But it was even worse. No, it was like a huge row, wasn't it? Massive row, maybe a ski, and then something else. I can't remember what it was either. But yeah, it's pretty. I was thinking that. I thought exactly the same thing. I was like, oh god, that sounds really, really mentally draining to do that. So yeah, I was sort of riding the road bike thinking, well, if my hand doesn't heal up, then I'll just crack into the road bike and try and do a bit of running and then see, can I put a little bit of base in to do some triathlon stuff? But I like weights too much, really.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
But I would like to do some conditioning and I'd like to do some jiu-jitsu. So
Well, you started back
don't know
on
what
your
I'm gonna do.
jiu-jitsu train a while back, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I did that trial week, and then I can't really remember what happened. I think maybe just work got really busy. So I was going to message the guy today because the club seems really cool. It's not far away, but they never told me the prices of the actual membership, so I don't know what that
Can't
is.
afford it.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, and I wonder because the stuff here is quite expensive. Like a CrossFit membership, for example, is €120 for a standing order membership, or €140, I think, for like an unlimited, like cancel anytime or like cancel monthly membership.
You just live there.
So that makes me think a jiu-jitsu membership is probably similar, no? Because martial art, like
maybe.
in the UK, if you around your way, it's like £60, isn't it, for an unlimited CrossFit membership, and you can pay similar for membership to a martial arts place. So I wonder if it's like 120-ish. And the problem is I'd struggle at the moment to do enough days a week, I think, because I have German classes twice a week, and you can't train every day.
You could do German lessons whilst rolling, and that just
could do German
add
jitsu.
the intensity. Yeah, German jitsu.
But that was comment.
Is it on your to-do list to email the people?
No, because it is on my to-do list, but it's on my to-do list for 3 weeks' time when this is fixed.
Okay.
Because if I send them a message now, did I mention it to you that they're building another gym? I think I was talking to Leon about it.
No.
They've got a place at the moment in Salzburg in a sports center, but they're building their own gym right now. So I guess that'll be finished soon with like a 200-meter square mat area, which is gigantic. Yeah, which will be even more bucks probably. But I'd like to go because I think, one, you've got the German jitsu element, and then two, I think I just feel a bit more chilled out when I do something like that.
Yeah. So would it, based on what you were learning last week, would it be better to do jiu-jitsu before you do German? Because you were talking about how the physical learning then makes your brain more receptive to the
that is correct.
Learning.
Yeah, so you should try and do something physical, and even better, it was basically like how your body moves in space or reacts against gravity. That apparently opens this neuroplasticity pathway as well.
Jits, isn't it?
I think maybe the problem is though it's a bit too long, the class, because in the podcast or in the video he was saying 7 minutes to 13 minutes is like the optimum window to go through this like mistake period at the start. So you have to get into this like period of making mistakes and getting frustrated, and the frustration releases a particular chemical which opens this neuroplasticity.
Just do crochet.
And then you do some but mistakes involves stabbing yourself in the fingers with crochet.
Yeah, it's high stakes.
It's high stakes, yeah.
High stakes
so I'll probably pass on that one. But yeah, that would be cool. But the jiu-jitsu doesn't start. I think it either starts at the same time or just doesn't align at all, basically. But what I can do is on the days that I don't have a German class is I can try and do jiu-jitsu, and then I can study afterwards. But I think I'll probably just be bashed.
And eventually you'll know German, won't you? You'll know German. Like you're not going to
just know it. I'll just
forever.
Absorb it.
Yeah.
By osmosis. Yeah, at some point. But the other cool thing about it is like when I was in Spain and I was going to the bike shop, and you go out with people there and they have social events and that sort of thing, and you've got something in common, and it's all in context because you're always repeating the same types of words about the same types of things. It's what I found was quite good about learning, or helped me to learn Spanish, was that is like you go to the supermarket and you learn the supermarket words, and then you go to the restaurant and you learn the restaurant words, and you go to the bike shop and you learn the bike shop words. So here there aren't really many words in the supermarket. That one they only say like, have you got the shop card, and this is the amount it is to pay. So that one, in the restaurant, I haven't really started doing the restaurant thing properly, and lots of people here speak English. So this is the other bit that makes it tricky to learn Spanish. But the lessons are helping, and I'm studying myself as well. On basically every day I'm trying to study now, because I thought, well, this is only going to work one way, isn't it? If I actually put some time into it, it's not going to magically appear in my brain.
And it's also probably quite difficult because the weeks there are only 3 days long.
Yeah, that does make it more complex to fit 2 days of German and 2 days of jiu-jitsu into a 3-day week. It is actually quite challenging. Yeah. So I have to work my way around that one. But it's cool. I did a test today in German. So we had a test today because the class is a little bit on the big side. So the class is, we talked about this.
Do they need to cut some fools?
Yeah, basically they need to cut some fools down into the like basic class.
B band.
Yeah, into the B band.
Are you a B bander now?
I don't know. I hope not. But I was thinking about, I think I've matured somewhat in my attitude to that, because I was sitting there and that she didn't tell us there was going to be a test. We said last week that we thought the group was a bit big and that it would be good to split it. And she was like, okay, next week we'll split it. And so she started the class by saying, okay, we've decided we're going to split the class. And I was like, okay, well, what they're going to do is just basically cut the class down the middle. And she said, so we're going to do a test, and then we're going to see like who is the beginner, like who are the beginners and who are the beginner plus sort of thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And then she gave us like a sort of a hint of what the topic is. It doesn't really matter because we're just going to do it anyway. But it was these irregular verbs, which I've been studying because I've been studying every day. And then I thought, well, it doesn't really matter how well I do on this, because if I do badly, I need to be in the beginner class. And if I do well, I'll go in the beginner plus class. But previously I'd have been like, well, I need to win this test somehow. And like my book was on the table in front of me with and all my notes and everything. And I was thinking, well, I could just read all my notes and I'll get the right one. But I thought, no, let's see if I actually go in the beginner class or I go in the beginner plus class. But everyone else is stressing out about it. So they're saying like, oh, do I have to do the test? Can I just go in the beginner class? Not, well, it doesn't make any difference, does it? If you do it and you don't get it right, you go in the beginner class. If you do it and you get it right, you go in the beginner plus class. So just do it. But people are pretty stressed out about it. One guy came out in a rash. I was like, chill out, mate. It's all right. Just German class, just for learning, isn't it? So that was good. I think hopefully I still won. But that's why I was studying
German.
Yeah, I won German. But it's quite funny though, because you get all smug about getting a good mark on this like super beginner test. And it's like, well, yeah, but your German level is horrific, basically. So
yeah,
let's see. We'll find out next week if I win the B band or the A band.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Should go right. All the beginner pluses stand up, and everybody's saying, "Not you, Matt."
Yeah, not you, mate. Stay sitting down. Actually, when I finished it, because some people finished before me, and I was thinking, oh. And I remember this in exams. I remember sitting there in the exams that I was doing at university and thinking, wow, these guys are finishing really fast. And then it turns out they finished really fast because they just
didn't do it properly.
Didn't have anything to write, basically.
Yeah.
And there were people finishing really fast in this test. And I was like just going through it and taking my time. And some of the stuff I just didn't know. So I had a bit of a guess. And I was thinking, well, you don't even need to get, there's not even any point guessing, because if you guess it right, then you've got it right by accident and you don't actually know what it is. So in some of the stuff I didn't even guess. But I gave her my papers and she like went, oh, the first page looks very good. And I was like, oh, that's good. So the first page.
And you went, all right. Danke.
I did. Yeah. No, I just said good. So that's cool. So we'll see next week. See if I get a smiley face.
Danke.
I
would not make the beginner class.
I'd be all right, dude.
Fundamentals.
Be fine. We were doing numbers today. That was okay. Well, in German they don't write. This is the same in English. I think English rules is you write the numbers up to 10, don't you? And then after 10, you can put the digits. But in German, when you write a number, if it's a big number, which like technically you're not supposed to do, they basically write it all in one. So like 25 is 25. But if it's like 125, it's 125, but all in one word. So if you've got like a million something, you've got this like gigantic word, which is why they don't write them down, I think.
Good.
In text.
Well done, Germany. Efficiency.
Yeah, it's crazy the words they put together. It's pretty funny. But I feel like I can actually read some things now, so that's pretty good. And I was actually feeling quite smug when I had been studying. I was like, oh, God, I'm studying. And then I looked at the questions on the test, and they were the same as like the chapter of the book that I read yesterday.
Awesome.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Pretty good.
That's cool. Your brain works for you then.
Yeah, it's been a long time since that worked well, but I think it's appreciating getting a little bit of a nudge to learn some things.
I had a little bit of that. I had a little bit of my brain working for me today when I was trying to do a design. I was trying to do a logo on a t-shirt, but it was 2 colors, and I was just trying to figure it out, like how I would do it. And my brain just helped me. My brain helped me do it. I won't go into detail, but it was on my side.
Thanks,
and I thought it was going to be an absolute pig to do. And then my brain just went, oh, why don't you try this? I went, thanks, brain. And it worked. And it took me like 5 minutes to do something which I thought was going to be an absolute mare.
Cool.
When you said about people finishing before you in tests, this is something that reminded me of. I was doing CrossFit, and we were on the assault bike, and my friend was next to me on the assault bike, and they hate the assault bike. Then they just absolutely loathe it, and they're quite slow and steady with it. They don't get off it very quick. And the first part of this workout was to do 35 calories on the assault bike, and then you go and do 35 pull-ups. Then it's 25 calories, 25 pull-ups, 15, 15, 5, 5. And I was on something like 25, 28 calories on this assault bike, just cruising along. And my friend's next to me, and he gets off the bike and starts walking towards the pull-up bar. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he like turned around, laughed at me, and got back on the bike. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. Because it really fucked with me. I was like, what the fuck? How did he do that?
Joke's on you.
And he just turned around, yeah. And a few other people do that. It's quite funny. Like this other guy does it. He's like, we'll be doing, like, everyone will just be slogging away at these pull-ups or whatever on the rig, something on the rig where it's just taken a while to do, and the next movement will be like a barbell movement or something, and he'll just like drop down from the pull-up bar, like look around, and then start walking towards the next bit of equipment, and he'll go towards it, and everyone's like, is he fucking done already? Oh my god. And then he like picks up his drink, has a swig, comes back, and carries on doing pull-ups. He's just like, you son of a bitch. It really messes with your head.
It's breaking everybody.
Yeah, it is. That is literally it. It's so funny. Sorry. Same
Technique.
Yeah. I did a really grotty workout. It reminded me of a lot of the stuff I was doing over lockdown with the ergs in the garage. I got asked if I wanted to jump in on a workout, and it was 100 calories on the air bike, and then 100 calorie row, and then 100 burpees, and then 75, 75, 75, 50, 50, 50, 25, 25, 25. So 250 total of each thing.
And what does 100 mean on an air bike, for example? How long does that take?
100 calories. I think it was just under 8 minutes for me.
So a bit of a stretch. Is that 8 minutes full clip, or is that 8 minutes? Well, it can't be 8 minutes full clip. You just die.
That's 8 minutes. Make sure
but
you don't go mental, because you're going to be doing this for the next hour. Yeah. But yeah, the burpees were the worst.
Grindy.
Burpees were. Imagine just getting off 100.
You did 100 burpees then.
100 calories on the bike, getting on the road, doing 100 calories on that, which is slightly quicker than the bike, and then going and doing 100 burpees, and then the next thing you've got to do is 75 of each. That 75 was mental. I
think I'd rather do 100 burpees than 100 calories on the row. I hate the row. I think that's my most hated piece of equipment. I don't know why. You think I'd be okay with a row?
It's because you've got little short arms and legs.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, that's true, because I don't get much pull over each
bang for your buck.
That is true.
Yes, that was fairly awful. And in the workout I did the other day, you're like this. It was in the same class as the air bike one, the 35, 25, 15, 5. It was 40 calories on the row, 40 wall balls, 30 row, 30 wall balls, 20, 20, 10, 10.
I wouldn't like that.
You would not like that at all. And I did the 40 wall balls unbroken. That was my little test.
Oh, Christ.
It's like, can I do this without dropping the ball? Because the guy next to me, go on. The guy next to me is taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got really and that's a benefit when you row. The taller if you're tall, it's good for rowing. So he got off the rower before me and he got onto the wall balls, and I feel like I'm okay at rowing. And I was like, I don't want to get left behind on this workout. So he picked up the wall ball, started going, and I was like maybe 5 to 8 behind him. And I was just like, there's only one way that I'm going to get ahead of this guy so I don't drop this wall ball. And when he broke, I was like, go on, keep going. But I had to use completely different muscles in my body for the last 5 of these wall balls. Like my legs and my arms and my shoulders just didn't work anymore. I was like willing it up there with my jaw and my teeth and my tongue. I was like, I And I don't know what happened, but just my legs, like when you squat and your legs do a certain thing, I was like my legs can no longer do this thing anymore.
No way.
So I was like, I had to just find a different area of my leg.
Something else.
It was just fucking weird. And
yeah, that sounds grim. That's how you know you've hit the limit, I guess, then, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't help then. So what did he do? He just stopped, did he? Or did he
so he stopped, had a little breather, picked it up, and then went
Did
again.
You beat him in the end?
Yeah.
Overall?
I finished that workout. It was 12-minute time cap, and then you had a 3-minute rest. And then we went on to the assault bike one, 12-minute time cap, 3-minute rest. And then we went on to handstand push-ups and box jumps.
Jesus. And where is this, at T800 or this is at
this is at CrossFit Great Yarmouth, yeah.
And
so I finished that row one with a minute and 20 minute and a half left in the time cap. So I had a bit of a longer rest. And I wish I would have pushed a bit harder on the pull-ups, but I was trying to do butterfly pull-ups. I've been trying to practice my butterfly pull-ups, which are the cheaty pull-ups. The whole world.
Was a kipping pull-up or different?
No, so a kipping one is where you sort of swing down and through, and then you pull yourself back onto the bar, and then you're down, and back onto the bar.
And the butterfly one is like the ones that I demonstrated so magnificently when I was at CrossFit Great Yarmouth.
Yeah. And I've been just every now and again I've just been jumping up and trying to like string some together because my body isn't coordinated enough to get it.
It's quite long though, isn't it? Your body is quite long. It's a lot of distance for the instructions to go. Yeah.
And everybody's saying, like the people that can do it, they're going to say, you just need to relax. You need to relax through it. Just like pull through it. You just need to relax. And I'm like, I can't relax because I'm trying to relax. I can't relax. I'm so tense. I'm literally just getting up there and just doing like barbell rows.
That's what it is, isn't it?
And my legs are just like, they don't know what's going on. But today
you
was
don't
the
have
first
to do.
day.
Oh, you managed it, did you? Yeah.
Today was the first day where I felt what they were talking about with the relax. Like I'd pull myself up and then I'd relax, and as I hit the bottom, it almost like a whiplash me back up. It was like sort of like a slingshot, as I hit the bottom, and I managed to get 7 in a row, which is the biggest I've done so far.
But it's not like you don't have to try and make a hollow position and then like an extended position like you would on a bar muscle up or something like that.
No, it's a different. It's you do a little bit of a kip, but it's different. It's hard to explain because I can't actually do it properly. So I wouldn't.
Because according to Mr. Neuroplasticity, there, if you keep making those mistakes, like you have to get into that frustrating bit where you get it wrong, keep making the mistakes, and then your body starts to make the little adjustments to correct that. But you have to persevere through that frustrating bit.
Well, I was
persevering all together for you.
Trying to do. How many did I do? What's 35? Add 25 is 60. Add 15 is 75. So I did 75 of them today.
Sorry?
I did 30 of them the other day in a little workout, just trying to do.
That's doubling a bit, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the other workout there was only 30 in it, so
I stopped. Need to do 30. Yeah, stopped at the end of that. Very good.
Oh, so I've got more training stories. I've got one more.
Yeah. Go on, you have to keep going because the only thing I can talk about really is like how hard slacklining is, and it's really hard. So
it does look hard.
It's really hard.
When I was scrolling through Instagram, I was like, what the fuck's he doing? In my head,
I couldn't find any circus music to put on it. Well, I had a look. I thought, well, I'll try it. And I just assumed that what you would do is get onto the slackline because there's one slackline with 2 ropes above it, so you can like hang on to it, hang on to like these support ropes and try and balance. So I was like trying to do that with 2 feet, so like stand on it with 2 feet. And I've seen some videos and people have their like feet sort of turned out and like rolling over the edge of the line. That kind of keeps you on there. Yeah, exactly. So you're like trying to walk on it like that,
like a comedian.
So I was trying to do that, and I did that for a bit and was like going just like walking up and down it, but it's so difficult to balance. It's insanely difficult. Yeah, it's like almost uncontrollable, the line. And what you're supposed to do, which after I thought, well, actually maybe I better do a quick YouTube and see if there's some sort of step-by-step way to start doing this. And you don't get on it straight away. You're supposed to stand with one leg up and on it, and then like stand up like this one leg squat, and then just try and balance. So with one leg off and your 2 arms up, and you use your arms like a tail, try and balance and sort of stay in an upright position for as long as you can, and then fall off one side. And if you notice you're falling off a lot to one side, then you fall off to the other side, and you're supposed to be able to find where your center of balance is. But super, super hard, and like almost, I would say, for me yesterday, almost impossible to actually do the thing where you just put one leg on it and try and get up onto it. But it was it's quite high, so it's like a really deep squat for me, and I couldn't like naturally like stand up onto it. I think maybe I could let some tension out of the thing and get it down a little bit, but super, super hard. And I did manage to balance for a little bit, and actually I managed to do 3 steps on it, because I thought, well, I'll just try and do 3 steps, because my balance isn't amazing. I could do quite a lot of stuff where you need good balance, but I overcome the lack of balance by going fast, and that compensates a little bit. And on this, you can't really do that. Inertia helps you to not have balance. So I'll go and try that again, because it was quite good. And I think it would be pretty cool for snowboarding and bike riding. And
if you could keep a little progression videos, that'd be good. So then at the
it
end
would be
like
cool.
in like 6 weeks or something, you can go 1 week 6.
See if I actually do it. Well, that was the first one the other day. I didn't then try and film it with when I was doing it with one leg, because it'd be nice. I quite like a bit of a structure, and I'm going to have to make my own structure, because I couldn't really find anything. I'd like this is a workout. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a slackline workout. So you do 10 reps one leg, 10 reps the other leg. I'll just make one up for myself, and then just try and do some steps or whatever.
Pistols and Cossack squats, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I could do that. I'm just thinking for the actual line down there. Like, I don't really need to be stronger, to be honest. I think what I need to do is just practice balancing. It's just controlling the line. It's super, super hard.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really completely out of control. I'll film that. I'll put the GoPro on I'll put a helmet or something, and I'll put the GoPro on my helmet and then film it. And you can see it's like bonkers. And because what you're supposed to do when you're trying to do this one leg one, so you've got one leg on the ground, and you put one leg on the line, and the line starts to move. You're supposed to just put your leg like closer and closer to the line until it's touching it and it can't move, but it's still doing this. I don't know. My legs probably doesn't help that one leg has been used a lot and the other leg is smashed to pieces. That probably also doesn't help.
Can't keep using that excuse.
Yeah, I didn't feel great when I got up this morning. I was like, ouch. I feel like
my
by a truck.
My hip flexor seems to have disintegrated.
Just like my hips were sore. Not even my hip flexor, just like inside in my hip was sore. So I'll film those and we'll see how we get on. That's with that. Cool. And I think I could also probably start doing some double unders and stuff again, as I can't really do anything else right now. Yeah, hit me with another story, Jack and Ori.
I've just got one last one. It was my I'm in deload week now, and last week was my 5-3-1 ones week, and I barely got off the ones. I did 2s on everything apart from overhead press, which was a 1. So I kind of feel done with that.
Kind of maxed it out there, haven't you?
Kind of feel done. Yeah.
But do you know what I was thinking about this? I was thinking you've done all the hard work now to get back to where you are. So you're basically like as strong as you've ever been and probably as fit as you've ever been. And now you're going to do the classic. And this is what we see everybody
change it up when it's going.
Oh, I've changed that. Oh, I'm just doing another program now.
Yeah, I know.
But what you can do and what you're supposed to do with that program is not be at 2s and 1s, isn't it? It's supposed to be at 5.
Stop and go. Yeah, I wouldn't want to roll that into like
there's no point. That's like the whole point is not to do that basically. But you could try either backing it all off again, but I think you're probably just going to run into it again, or we talked about this before, doing some more volume, because this loop you get into of you basically need to build some more muscle before you can then make that muscle stronger, don't you? And like you haven't ever really done that, have you? No, you got some, but like purposely gone and done that. It's packing it. But you could take the time that you're using now to do all the strength training and do some hypertrophy for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And maybe back off on the conditioning a bit. It depends which way you want to go, doesn't it? Because I think the thing as well with CrossFit now, people are super strong, aren't they? Doing CrossFit.
They're crazy strong.
Like
crazy strong mothers out there.
Yeah.
Literal mothers.
Where do you need to be to go into the intermediate category, for example, for because that what you really need is a goal, isn't it? Because at the moment you're like training and getting a bit stronger, a bit more conditioning, but don't have a focus to you because there's no target there, is there? So if you knew for the intermediate class you needed to do, and it's something, is it like 100 kilo clean? I think Tech has the numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got the numbers in there. There was some numbers were being banded around, like a 95 kg snatch, but then somebody said that we misread the guidelines on that, and that's if you can do that, you should be RX rather than intermediate. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. We just.
But what you could do is get those numbers, then back off the conditioning a bit and maybe do some more Olympic lifting and do that with your strength stuff until you get strong enough and heavy enough, probably put some weight on, and then it's easier to like back off and get the conditioning back than it is to get strong, isn't it? I think, in my experience anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're learning movements, aren't you? So once you learn the movements, that's okay. And then it's like the fitness can go up and down kind of quite quickly depending on what you're doing to bring that up. But the strength is just something you just have to keep chipping away, isn't it? But I would say hypertrophy loop, try that, and then come back to it. Juggernaut would be cool, but you're not going to fit it in time, right?
No, it's too much.
The other thing that you could do is like the one I'm doing at the moment is that boring but big one where you can back right off on the training max to like an 85% training max, so things get much lighter, and then limit your top set, and then you end up with just a bunch of volume after. It's still really fast to do, and you could probably like really limit the top sets.
I'd quite like to see if I can go back to squatting without the box.
Yeah,
that'd be
good.
I'd like to do that again, because that box is like a little crutch there for me. I did 149 kilos for a double to the box.
Yeah, that's good, dude.
And my max ever for a oneer with wraps was 155.
Right. Okay. But I think, and you say it's a crutch, but it's allowing you to squat, isn't it? It's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So if you take you can try it, can't you? You just have to build up again, not from the bottom, do you? But you start with something light and just see how it is. You could do those as your boring but big sets, for example. I'm just trying to think what you would do, because what you don't want to do is end up in the same loop that you're in now, doing really low reps and just like every 3 or 4 weeks just banging up against this like low rep number, do. So you probably do need to put a little bit of extra size on it, or get a bit heavier and change leverage and this sort of thing. But do that with reps instead of with this sort of close to max weights, because you're basically at your max all the time, aren't you? Now.
And the assistance and the first set last assistance is awful.
But that's as well quite high stuff. Reps, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the stuff. That's the stuff which is probably useful for me for the CrossFit stuff.
Yeah.
There's 143 kilos for 3 sets of 8 in deadlifts is a lot more useful than a double at 180. And
you probably get more benefit out of doing that and just lose the double. Look, what's the double doing for you? Not that much.
Is making me,
unless you take out the 3 sets of 8 and you do a proper peak. But I would say, go the other way around and put some more volume in. The juggernaut structure is really good, but the sessions are really long.
Yeah, it's too long.
It's the problem. So let me have a look in my book and see if I can find something.
Refer to the book. All comments will be taken on board into consideration
and ignored. This bad
ignored as I start a new block of 531
for
the 10th year in a row.
Well, yeah, but in your defense, you have stuck to it. So, and it's worked, hasn't it? So,
yeah,
no arguing about that. It's just you're probably on the limit of the amount of muscle that you've got on you, aren't you? Unless you concentrate on doing that, and then you can make that stronger.
Yep,
sounds easy.
Sounds easy. Sounds simple.
It's not easy.
Sounds.
I would like to be able to train for 6 months straight at some point. That would be great.
Right.
It would be marvelous.
Talk about
before I get too decrepit.
Right. We are coming up to 1 hour. And it's been all training talk.
Yeah, we've talked 1 hour straight.
All training.
Of training.
How about that for a podcast which is meant to be about training? Pretty good.
I need to do some more training. At least I did some. Oh, you know what I'm going to maybe try and do? Although
some training.
Mum, you have to cover your ears. Some training. Paragliding, maybe.
Yeah, she mentioned that to me. She said, well, all he can do is break his legs. You could break his legs. That's true. That's what he could do.
Yeah. Hopefully I won't. I just thought it'd be pretty cool. It's really popular here
Yeah.
for some reason to strap a massive bed sheet to your back and then run off a cliff.
Why not?
Well, I thought it sounded exciting. Something
Like a
to do.
hobby,
Innit?
isn't it?
Yeah, why not?
Stick the GoPro on for that, because that'd be some cool footage.
That's true. Yeah,
This is what we
true.
this is
Although
what we
you
do
know
it
what,
for.
as well with the GoPro, I broke the holder. It's supposed to be like basically indestructible, and it fell off my little. It's not a shelf. It's just like a phone holder
shelf.
that I like balance the GoPro on. The GoPro
Yeah.
fell off that. Bear in mind, it's supposed to be this super action camera that like you can smash it to pieces. It fell off that, hit the floor in the garage, so it dropped about 3 foot and obliterated
Exploded.
the holder. Yeah,
Get it on the list.
that was good. Yeah, actually, yeah, listing on the list.
Cool. Things to talk about next time. Just whilst it's on my mind, I'm going to put it down on my list. David Goggins' book, You Can't Hurt Me. I've started listening to that.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
David Goggins.
Yeah, I wanted to get that because I listened to his podcast. It's really cool.
So yeah,
I do
I'm
know
listening
quite
to
a
that
bit.
at the minute.
So I will listen to a podcast about him, and then if you're listening to the book, then we can talk about the book
David
and the
Goggins.
podcast. I can ask you questions about what's in the book based on
Yeah.
what I didn't hear in the podcast, stroke
And
video,
And I can
because
tell
I'm
you,
having some discussion now with people about podcast and video. Like, if it's a video, is it a podcast? Depends on the platform. No?
I don't know.
It's
We
not.
call
It
this
should just be audio.
Yeah, we call this a podcast. The Joe Rogan podcast is a podcast, but it's also
Exactly. Yeah, that
available
was
as
the
a video.
example that I used, but then I got
Pretty much every podcast now you can
Is a video.
watch.
Yep.
So get with it. Who is it? Come on. No, who is this? Who is
I
this son of a
mention no
bitch? Get with the. What's he on about? What's he got? What's he listening to it on his Apple AirPods?
on his gramophone.
on his iPod Touch.
Yeah, that was the example.
What's he listening to it on his Microsoft Zoom? Fucking hell.
I said, I think it's a hangover from the days when all the content was garbage and people used to just put stuff on their iPods. And now that people have access to video cameras, you can put it on multi-platforms and get access to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it all went south from there. It all went very south.
People like to see our little faces.
Yeah.
That's
what I was taking a picture for.
It's half the
to
battle.
wind them up.
Yeah. Check out my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. It was funny. All right. Cool.
Sweet.
It's good.
All right, mate. Well
I'll
done.
do some more training and then I can speak to you about that.
Let's do some
And
training.
Goggins. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I like the Gogster.
I'll have to
I like
remember.
Goggo.
I'll have to write some stuff down.
Davey G. Yeah. Let's do
DG.
that. Let's prepare. Be ready, people, because this is the first podcast that we're actually going to prepare for. This has been my request 29 podcasts ago that we should prepare. But Will likes to freestyle.
You like to
I'm bad at
freestyle. And also, what I will say is, by the time this goes out, it will probably be your birthday. So let's
Not
say happy
happening.
birthday
Cancelled, mate.
to Matthew. Happy
Cancelled.
birthday, Matthew. The internet
Not
loves you.
No, they don't. Nobody. It's over.
It's game over. And on that note, I'll see
Thank
you
you
later.
for my birthday wishes. Oh, you've got my birthday book. I'm reading that, by the way. See you later.
See you, mate.